October 1415, Northern France. King Henry V of England is leading an army that is physically spent. Reduced to nearly 6,000 men, his force is sick, starving, and retreating toward the safety of Calais. Blocking their path is a French force at least 3 times larger. It is anchored by the most feared elite military class in Europe. Thousands of heavily armored knights protected by state-of-the-art steel. On paper, this battle is a mathematical impossibility for the English. Every strategic metric suggests a one-sided massacre is the only logical outcome. Despite the odds, both sides prepare for a decisive clash. The French commanders see a starving, retreating enemy and choose to engage immediately, convinced that their superior numbers and elite status make their victory an inevitability. The French select a narrow strip flanked by dense forests to block Henry. On a map, it restricts maneuverability, but the map hides a flaw. Days of rain soaked the ground, turning what appears solid into a deep, sticky mud. Henry V identifies the danger and moves first, advancing his army to force an early engagement, and orders his archers to plant sharpened wooden stakes in the earth, a defensive innovation designed to break a charge's momentum. The French respond with a massive cavalry charge, but as knights accelerate, the heavy war horses churn through muck, losing speed until momentum completely collapses. By choosing this corridor, the French neutralized their own greatest asset. Their mobility disappeared in the wet earth before they even reached the English lines. This creates a window for the English offensive system. Thousands of longbowmen begin unleashing 10 to 12 arrows per minute. This continuous barrage darkens the sky, striking a target that is too bogged down to maneuver or escape. Driven by their social status and the refusal to retreat, French commanders continue sending wave after wave of knights into the same narrow, muddy corridor. The battlefield quickly becomes a bottleneck. Fallen horses and soldiers create physical obstacles for the men behind them, who continue to push forward, compressing the ranks into an impenetrable mass. Within this crush, the physics of the crowd become lethal. Men pinned in the center begin to suffocate under the weight of their own ranks. Those who fall cannot get up, as the pressure of the soldiers behind them makes breathing impossible. Henry seizes the moment. He orders his unarmored, agile archers to drop their bows and enter the fray with knives and mallets. They move easily across the surface of the mud, attacking the immobilized knights at close range. The heavy armor, once the symbol of French invincibility, becomes a prison. Designed for protection, it now ensures that the most powerful men in Europe are helpless in the face of a lighter, more mobile enemy. The aftermath is staggering. Thousands of French soldiers lay dead in the mud, while the English losses are minimal by comparison. The disaster was a chain of specific errors: misreading the physical ground, relying on a rigid cavalry doctrine, and failing to pivot as the battlefield became a bottleneck. Today, the site is a quiet rural intersection. It is a mundane piece of French countryside that serves as a reminder of how quickly superiority evaporates when a leader ignores the reality of the environment. Agincourt stands as a victory of strategic clarity. Henry won because he understood the ground he stood on, while the French commanders were blinded by their own prestige. Overwhelming power means nothing if it is applied to a misunderstood reality. Superiority is a fragile thing when it refuses to see the world as it truly is.